Boston the mini horse has already led an eventful and tragic life for a newborn. When the sweet baby came into this world, he lost his mother shortly after birth. Without his mom to guide him, the poor little guy found an unlikely guardian, Lucille Greenier, a pet store owner. At first, she wasn't sure how the two of them would get along, but now she has no doubts. Now over a week old, Boston is being raised by his new mom in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And when you see just how well this adorable pair gets along, your heart will swell with joy. The first few days of life for Boston the mini horse should have been joyous. Unfortunately, they were marred by an unthinkable tragedy. Just 2 days after his birth, the mini horse's mother died due to complications from childbirth, which left him an orphan. That's when Lucille Greenier stepped in. Though Boston lost his primary source of nutrients with the death of his mother, Lucille, who had 20 years of experience as a veterinary technician, knew she had what it took to get the little guy through this tough stage. Boston was a true survivor, and his name reflected that. Lucille adopted the mini horse not long after the terrorist attacks during the Boston Marathon in 2013. That's why she decided to name her own little fighter after that bold and brave city. He was already living up to his name, according to Lucille. Every day, Boston commuted with his mama to her job at the pet store she ran in a Boston suburb. Already his personality was starting to shine through. He thinks he's hot stuff and then some, joked Lucille. He's already acting like a little stud colt and he's only 2 weeks old. While Lucille worked at the pet store, Boston would hang out in a special pen, complete with hay, right there in the store. People who used to come in to buy dog food and other pet essentials started to visit just for the pleasure of hanging out with this sassy mini horse. Lucille, who is also a veteran horse owner, planned to keep Boston in her home and in her office until he was a bit older. That's when he would be able to transition into living in a real stable so that he could learn the ways of other horses. He needs to learn some horsey manners, said Lucille. Many horses like Boston usually only grow to about 34 inches tall. They cannot be ridden, but they can pull small carts. Another use for mini horses that has recently become more popular is employing them to assist people with disabilities, like the blind, or those with anxiety disorders. Boston quickly demonstrated great skill when it came to interacting with people. While his fans visiting him at the pet store were always excited about him, he was equally excited about them. Having such a loving interaction with a mini horse had to be good for the soul, right? Lucille said that Boston was already larger than average for his age. She anticipated that once he transitioned from bottle feeding to eating from a bucket, a major hurdle for developing horses without mothers, that he could grow to be large enough to pull one adult in a cart. However, she had no plans to put him to work. Boston was part of her family, after all. Horses like Boston don't come around every day. Many horses are always special, but what Boston brought to the table was something extra. This plucky survivor's story is a lesson for everyone.